Call to order Town of Arlington Redevelopment Board meeting on Monday, February 9th at 7 p.m. Can I have the board members roll call, please? Steve?
Steve Ermelak.
Eugene Benson.
Shayna Corman Houston.
Rachel Zemberry.
And I am Ken Lau. And we have here Claire Richter and Sarah of the Planning Board.
Thank you.
Agenda number 1 is the review of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? Starting with Steve.
None here.
No changes.
None.
Rachel?
None.
I have none. Do I have a motion?
So moved to accept the minutes of January 26, 2026.
A second, please.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
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 And I am a yes, too. Okay, that the meeting minutes pass, and we have an administrative change to docket number 3883, 840, and 846 Mass Ave. The board will vote to revise the continuation date from March 16th to March 9th. Claire, do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, sure. I have one comment here is that the applicant, after our last board meeting where the board voted to continue to March 16th, in conversations with the applicant, they asked if March 9th could be a possibility. I did speak with town council about whether or not the board could make that change, and he agreed that it was fine to have a vote to continue to a different date at your next meeting, which is tonight.
Do we have any comments on this? Starting with Steve.
None.
Jean?
No comments.
Anna?
None.
Rachel?
No comments.
I have none. Do I have a motion?
So moved to revise the continuation date for docket 3883, 840 to 846 Massachusetts Avenue to March 9, 2026.
I have a second.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes, too. Okay, on to hearing number 3. Public hearing docket number 3879, 26 Dudley Street. Special permit continuation from 12/15/26. They want the board to continue the hearing docket 3879 to a future date. Do you want to say anything, Claire?
That's correct. The applicant has requested a continuance to your meeting on April 6th.
Do we have any issues on this, Steve? Starting with Steve.
No issues.
Jean?
No issues.
Jana?
No issues.
Rachel?
No issues.
And I have no issues myself. Do I have a motion?
I move that we continue the hearing for docket 3879, 26 Dudley Street to April 6, 2026.
A second, please.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Jana?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes, too. Okay. Public hearing number 4, docket number 3888, 1341 to 1347 Mass Ave, special permit hearing. The proponent's here. Do you want to get up by the desk there in the chair? And I'll introduce you in a few minutes. Rachel, do you want to? Claire?
Yes, so with regard to this docket, the applicant proposes to renovate the street facade of an existing mixed-use building and make other changes to the building envelope as part of renovations to residential apartments and commercial units at 1341 to 1347 Mass Ave, located in the B3 Village Business District. Is submitted several materials for consideration of this application, including architectural plans and drawings, which we can look at tonight.
Thank you, Claire. Do you want to state your name and give a brief description of the project, please?
My name is Bill Hubner, architect, Insight Architecture. And the building in question, as Claire said, is a mixed-use commercial and residential. The proposal is to renovate the street facade, the Mass Ave facade, basically replacing the existing fenestration, the glazing and the entry doors in place with all new material, in addition to just replacing it on units. As you look at the building, that's the front of it, the left side unit on the ground floor is unit 1, and then it's 2, 3, 4. They're slightly different in size, each one of them, but they're small commercial spaces. The left side one, which was formerly a post office, it's been disused now for several years, but that's what most people in the neighborhood remember it as. Its facade is being modified somewhat. It's got a unique retrofitted orientation with the door. That vertical element of that left side unit is the entry, which is recessed about 4 feet, and then there's a door that goes directly in from there to the left, and behind that low wall is a ramp. So it was made to be accessible, in quotes, because it doesn't actually meet the accessible requirements, but it's better than the step that the other 3 units have. And so we are proposing some changes to that facade by lowering the low wall, which is under the fixed windows. We're making it actually a bit lower to make it more visually accessible from the street, and rebuilding the ramp system to make it more conforming to the code. Flat landings either side of the ramp elements, inside the door, etc. The other major change that we're proposing is currently that piece of facade above all that storefront fenestration is a mock mansard roof. It's a composite shingle roof to, again, resemble a mansard roof, but it actually is not that. It's just basically a parapet. There are photographs of that in the package, and of course, we also have drawings of it, what it looks like now. The upper band that you see above the proposed rebuilding of that parapet are apartments, 3 apartments, the front facade of which is set back 15 feet from the storefront of the building. That is also being renovated and updated, but the function is the same as it is now. Same with downstairs. The idea is we're not trying to change use at all. There's no changes to the footprint of the building. We're merely trying to update it and make it more appropriate, we think, by removing the mansard with the other street front facades on Mass Ave along this block. So that, and by the way, along with these changes is major infrastructure redo of the plumbing systems, electrical systems. We're adding proper sprinkling, fire suppression sprinkling system with alarms, etc. And so that is ostensibly what we're here to talk about today, is whether this is considered an appropriate change to this building.
Thank you. Let's start with Steve. Do you have any comments on this?
So yeah, just a few. No changes to square footage?
It's all in the drawings. I don't have it in my head, but I can look it up for you if you'll look it up. But otherwise, it is published in the literature and on the drawings themselves. Each of the retail units is approximately 1,000 square feet. Mm-hmm. So we're nominally talking about 1,000 square feet of street front commercial space. Each unit has a usable, functional, habitable basement space below it. Those are in varying degrees of success, accessible from each of the units, mm-hmm. but also from the back. There's an alley behind the building where ostensibly the loading and the parking occurs, and we're going to maintain that, improve it as best we can. So that's an additional nominal 1,000 square feet per unit. That's gross square footage, by the way, that supports those. That's not meant to be for
But it's an existing basement, you're improving it.
Exactly right.
Okay,
Exactly
okay,
right.
that was my main question.
Yeah.
The one comment that caught my mind from staff's memo is it looks like you have bicycle racks proposed, long-term bicycle parking spaces proposed in the basement?
Long-term proposed in the basement, and then short-term secure bicycle racks behind the building as well. So folks coming and going during the course of the day can use the bike racks as well. So that will be, there's two modes of bicycle storage.
Right, so with regard to our bylaw, the drawings made it look as if they were hanging racks. Our bylaw requires that the bicycle not need to be lifted. But your submission materials had a number of U-racks. Those would all be acceptable under our bylaw. How will people get bicycles from the street level down, or from the back down to the basement?
Currently, each of the four units, each of the three of the units have a rear door, a door that you confront both outside and inside with steps. We are proposing, and you'll see that in the drawings, that we have ramps inside, that we still have a landing inside each door with a step or steps down to the basement. Two of them are at one level and the other two are at different levels, none of which are equivalent with the floor. So there will be a step, and then there will also be a ramp that allows you to wheel not only bicycles in and out, but also just goods. The idea is the basement are really used for storage. And supports for the retail spaces above.
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Steve. Gene?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of questions. When I looked at some of the drawings, it looks like there's a door from the second floor that can be used to access the 15 feet, whatever it is, in front of the apartments. Am I reading that correctly?
Correct. There are 3 apartments, and the 3 apartments, sheet A2 shows that in plan. There they are, 3 apartments. Currently, there is a set of steps. It's basically an egress way. So the steps allow each of the 3 apartments to have direct access onto the roof, which would be a place of refuse if there was a fire and they couldn't use their front doors. By the way, the entry doors to each of the apartments, 1, 2, 3, are from the back hallway landing. That's an existing access, an existing structure. If you look carefully, there's a thin corridor along the right side of the building there. That is a common corridor. So if somebody comes out onto the roof deck, they can then walk around and walk through that corridor and then access the other 2 stairs that are actually the access stairs to the front door of each of the units, which are focused to the back. Currently, there is a set of steps for each of the 3 apartments. What we're proposing is a exclusive use area for those apartments. So there's a 8 by 10, I believe, is what we came up with, small deck for each apartment. And then from there, there's the steps down to the roof. And that all will function as it was before. But it seemed like a nice feature to offer to the tenants to have an exclusive use area that is outdoors.
Does it, excuse me, does it require a railing? Because it seems like it requires,
Oh, yeah, there's railing.
there'll be a railing that?
Yeah, railings.
I didn't see it on,
May I?
sure, please.
Each of the apartments, exclusive use deck, has a railing around it to code, and then the steps, of course, have handrails as well. The roof is made safe by the fact that the parapet roof that we're proposing to build to replace the old mansard is 54 inches
Oh, it
off the
is,
ground.
okay.
It's a vertical wall. There's an open section here and an open section on this side. That is also secured with a railing, a guard railing. Okay?
Okay, thanks. In terms of the size of the commercial units, has the, well, let me ask a preliminary question. The tenants that are now in some of the commercial units, will they stay or will they have to leave?
They don't have to leave. One of the units is empty, that's the old
Right.
post office.
Right.
Kumon education center, which occupies units 3 and 4, they're actually moving next door into the adjacent building. So they will be leaving, but that's a voluntary move. The pizza parlor has been notified that his lease will not be renewed, and so he will be leaving. That's unit number 2.
So all of the spaces will be empty.
Correct.
Has the owner given any thought to combining some of the spaces into a larger size? I ask because one thing that we've been told very often is that most of the commercial spaces in town are too small for some of the businesses that are interested
Yes.
in locating here.
Yes.
So I wonder what the thoughts are about that.
Unit 3 and 4 currently ad hoc have been made into a single use, that's for the school, Kumon. We've planned for the building, and the construction notations for this building are set up so that that is flexible, and we're actually encouraging that for the reasons you say. There's a lot more market probably for larger units. So in theory, all 4 of the commercial units could be combined, which would allow us to eliminate some of the internal stairs, which would even give more space. But what we're doing at this stage is proposing to keep the nominal structure, everything is in place. And so those are there, and if we decide to open it up, it would just be, we would deal with either partition walls with openings cut into it and/or a post and beam solution to that, if we decide to do that.
So you'd still have a doorway entrance for each of the 4 units, even if you combine them?
Well, we don't know what else to propose at this stage except to offer that. And again, it's working currently for units 3 and 4. They
Right.
use signage and other wayfinding methods to make that work. And so we're proposing to have the flexibility of the 4 units working independently with also the flexibility of that.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess my only thought is if you end up combining some of the units and you don't need some of the doorways, you'd have to come back just to get approval.
Well, then that's the
To
way it
change
is.
that.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you, Gene. Sheena?
Thank you. I actually believe that Jean and Steve have, between them, the 2 of them covered all of my questions, so I have nothing further.
Thank you, Sheena.
So what is your marketing plan for the commercial spaces?
I do not have a marketing plan. I'm the architect. My job, I'm here representing the client as the architect. But they have the building next door. They are experienced with and skilled with this owning commercial buildings and making them successful. But I do not know. That would be a question you'd want to pose to the actual owners of the building. Does that have, is that relevant to the DER approval hearing?
So to me, it is relevant. We approved the building next door, which is, I believe, owned by the same owner.
Correct. Same architect as well?
Right. And we were told that that was going to be marketed as a retail space. And my understanding is that the owner is using it for their own showroom rather than marketing it as a retail space. Is that, Claire, the department's understanding as well?
I believe that's the latest update that we received.
So to me,
Well, I can
being-
update you a little bit more on that if you'd like.
that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, great, yeah. By the way, that was a thought for them, and that was going to be a temporary thing because they're planning on renovating their current office spaces, and they thought they might be able to do that. But Kumon, as I mentioned before, the education center, which is currently in unit 3 and 4 of the
So they're
subject
going to
building.
that side, not to the other building.
They are intending to move into the other building. I believe
Thank you.
there's a
That's
sign, yeah.
That's helpful.
And they are technically a business use, even though it's quote-unquote education. Because of the size of their operation, they qualify underneath the Massachusetts Building Code as a business. And so that's just what it is. So it is appropriate for how the building is currently being used, which is mercantile and business at the moment.
So again, I think that is the reason for my question is because the board approved that property with the understanding that it would be, at the time it was presented to us as mercantile. That's the reasoning for my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You all done? Thank you. Thank you, Richard. I have a couple of quick questions. With the amount of work you're doing to this building here, you say you're changing the sprinkler system, the electrical system, and so forth. At what point does this trigger a larger project as opposed to a renovation, so you have to meet all the codes?
Well, what we're doing, planning on doing, proposing to do, is to just upgrade to make it meet code. The building's been subject to deferred maintenance for many, many years, and it's in quite poor condition for all kinds of reasons. And the client has no interest in putting any money into this building and on top, on a sandy foundation. So the idea is, we're not talking about foundations literally here, but we mean just if you're going to have an electrical system, it should meet current code, and it doesn't. Same with the plumbing. There's a lot of ad hoc, likely not through the proper channels, renovations and remodels that have happened to this building over the years. It's very apparent when you walk through it. And so all they're planning to do there is just to fix the broken bits and make them marketable technically. We're not doing anything structural. There's no current partitions or columns or anything that are being removed, no entrances that are being changed, except for the access to them and what happens inside them to make it more comfortable and practical and safe to use.
What I see right now is is the post office space 1?
Correct.
Okay, let's call out space 1, okay?
Yes.
Space 1 is the only space that meets handicap requirements. Space 2, 3, and 4 have a step up into that thing. It does not meet handicap requirements.
Correct.
So do you have to, because of the amount of work you're doing to this building, make it all accessible for all the spaces there?
No.
That means you're jackhammering the entry slabs and everything else.
Yeah. No, we do not. Because of the size of the units and the fact that we're not changing use or making any, really no structural changes. Rebuilding the...
I know it's not to do with structural. It has to do with the amount of money that you're spending versus the value of the building. Once you exceed that threshold, okay, then you have to, it has to comply with all codes and regulations.
Yeah.
Right now, are you below that threshold? So, because otherwise, I don't want to start talking about handicap if you don't have to meet it.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm saying we do not.
You do not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not our jurisdiction to find out. This is something, because that will affect the architecture of the building if you do that, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
The building commissioner will address that with you and tell you if you have to or not have to, okay?
Correct.
But if you have to change something to elevation, you have to come back to us,
Okay.
all right?
Fair enough, yeah.
What Rachel said earlier before, we had proved, I'm going to call it the ORDAC vacuum place. Everybody knows it as the vacuum place, right? Ever since I've been here, that's always been that way, and, there's 2 side doors that went up, and we had asked you to make those doors a commercial door. Right now, what's there, like a bifold door and a residential door, and we didn't want those doors to be that. We wanted it to be a commercial storefront door on the ORDAC. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing on this building, because you have one door way over to the right. That's within this building. Is that within this building, or is it the next building over?
Next building over.
That 6-panel door is not this project.
Correct.
Okay. It was hard for me to tell where the delineation of the project is. Okay, so does your client own that building next door? Okay.
And I'm sorry, there's a note on there that's supposed to make it very clear where the building ends, and it's in the wrong spot. This door accesses an alley, an open alley between this building, the neighboring building, and our building, which is this one.
Yeah, it goes down to the back.
And when you open this door, you're in an outdoor alley.
Okay.
And you walk forward and you walk into this building.
But that's not your door. Okay. But that door you show over there to the left is your door, an ORDAC door, right?
Correct. That's a residential access door.
I know, but we said we wanted that to be a storefront door. Is that happening or not?
No. That door was, in that hearing, that door was criticized because it is currently a double door, and it is of a modest quality. And I think that what the board said then was, hey, you're doing all this nice work to this commercial building, why do those doors look the way they look? And my initial response to that was, well, that's not part of this project. We're not doing anything to the apartments. We're strictly here to talk about the facade and the entrance to that building. So we agreed at that meeting that we would replace the door. I'm pretty sure this is in the minutes, not with a commercial storefront door, but with a higher grade, higher quality residential type entry door that just looked nicer and was of higher quality. What was not known, I don't know why we're talking about this building right now, but anyway, if you want to know.
It makes a big deal to me because.
Well, I want to be completely upfront with you about this too. But anyway, so there are two doors. The one on the right, the one that you actually see in this rendering, because we wanted to capture a little bit of the context, is currently a double door. And it wasn't, since it has nothing to do with the renovations that I was charged with fixing and creating the design for next door. I'd actually never accessed that door. Never been up in that apartment.
Well,
It turns out that the stairs that access that apartment that were existing conditions is still there now. The first tread is too close to the entry to allow a 36-inch wide proper access door to be placed in there. And that's just existing conditions. It's a hardship of the property. So it has to continue to be, it's not a bifold, it's just a double door. But the idea is we want to have enough opening with it that actually people can safely come and go, and that furniture and other things can be brought in and out of the building into that apartment conveniently.
well, when you came up to this hearing for that project next door, I was the one that brought up that issue.
Okay.
I had the concerns about that, and I thought we were extremely lenient on you in saying that we want to ask you to come back in here to resubmit just for that one door. We made it an administrative approval for that door, as long as it was, I believe, but if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it, that we wanted something more commercial-like. Okay, and you said, okay, you guys resubmitted a set of drawings, and we have it here. It doesn't look like what you have shown right there, okay? So what you submitted for the resubmission for that project is different from what's here. So that's why I bring it up right now. Why, which is it? And I'm asking that if that's your door, I want it more commercial-like. Okay, I don't want a residential door on Mass Ave.
Okay.
Okay? I can make it, I don't want to make it any clearer than just that, okay?
This drawing wasn't prepared for this presentation.
That's fine, that's why I'm asking questions.
The drawings that are currently at the building department that have been submitted and approved by the building department is what is the door that we plan to use. We'll have to, if there's an issue, I'd be the first one to say I would like to work with you to make it something that you like. But once it went after that hearing, and we went back and made the changes we agreed to after that hearing, the drawings are submitted. I suspect that they were filed with you guys as well, but I can't swear to that. They certainly were given to the town, that's the building department, and they were reviewed and approved. So we'll just have to revisit those and see. That door hasn't been purchased, it's not in place, they're working on it.
I would ask you to, if you can, see if you can come closer to what our wishes were, okay?
Okay,
And
we do that, yeah.
that's one issue. The other issue is, are you putting a new roof on this building or just leaving the old one as is?
Oh, no, the rubber, now there's two roofs. There's the roof that's on top of the residential block, I call it.
Yep.
And then there's that 15-foot deep by the width of the building rubber roof. That's already been, quote-unquote, replaced because they discovered there was some asbestos in the infrastructure underneath that roof, and they got the permitting, proper permitting, had that all properly removed, and have put a rubber roof down there were leaks in the building, They wanted to arrest all that.
So
They've done that, and now if this parapet is approved and we are allowed to rebuild that mansard roof with what we're proposing, that will be reworked and made sound.
So it's some sort of EPDM or EP roof right there right now, right?
Correct, that's right.
And I believe it's dark gray or black roof?
Dark gray, yeah.
Okay. Does your client have any wishes to put some sort of green roof up there, like a sedum or something like that, on trays around your porches you put up there, because it will make that much nicer, and it will give a green roof, so it'll help the heat sink of the island, of that area there. Would they entertain doing that?
We certainly can bring it up, or I can certainly bring it up with them.
Okay?
Yes.
I'd like you to
Yeah.
bring that up and say, hey, I mean, there's not that much roof, okay? Because now you put the decks there, you know. So if you make that, it would help. I think it would help greatly increase the value of those units, having a sedum roof up there, okay? Also, you did not show any lights on the outside of the units. I want to make sure you're aware that zoning is dark sky. So all the lights that you may or may not put out at the porches will be aimed down.
The lighting is indicated on the floor plan, sheet A1, and with their recessed down lights in the recesses of each of the 4 retail unit entrances. All the entrances are set back from the street. In case of these 4, 3, 2.
I'm talking apartment units.
Huh?
Apartments.
Oh, okay, sorry. But yeah, so the lighting for that is shown, they're down lights, and the spec for the light is in the information. The entrance to these units is all along this enclosed corridor.
Yeah, but I'm talking about on the porches.
Yeah.
You haven't, so you don't have any, I didn't see any cut sheets for those lights along the.
We haven't submitted those. I understand the thing about dark sky, but this facade isn't really visible from the street, so I didn't think it was relevant to be on that stuff. But if any fixture we have will be dark sky in accordance with code.
Okay. And my last issue you have there is at the Italian restaurant that used to be back there in unit number 2.
Yep.
There is a kitchen exhaust fan that blows out in the back underneath the overhang. That might have been grandfathered in, but that's not. It's not legal now.
Well, frankly, I think there's a desire not to have a restaurant be in there. That tenant will be leaving. That unit will be completely gutted because it has to be. It's just in terrible shape.
So the exhaust fan will leave. The exhaust fan that's there and intake louver that's underneath the overhang will be gone.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Even if it was to be a restaurant, it would have to all be resubmitted and approved.
Correct.
because
I'm
it's-
just don't want to say, hey, we're grandfathered in because there
No.
was a restaurant there,
Yeah.
and we're gonna just tap onto that existing vent,
Yep.
and it's not a good thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that happened, but it happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this building, I wonder how they happened.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to fix that stuff.
That's all the comments I had. I'm gonna open it up for the public here. Since it's a pretty large crowd, could I have 3 minutes per comment? And I'm gonna ask that if a comment has already been stated before, and you have the same, but it's not different, please refrain from stating the same thing over again. You're welcome to send in letters, and we read all the letters, but I just want to say, if anybody wants to say the same thing, please restrain. So is there anybody here with comments from the public on this project? Okay, seeing none, we close public comment, and we turn it back to the board for discussion.
Could I bring one more point up? I'm sorry, I don't know the protocol for doing this, but there's one, the submission package you have in front of you was submitted 3 weeks ago or something. We would like to propose, this is an addendum to with the package you have in front of you, but propose a different color scheme than what the package that you're currently holding has. So what I brought today is a revised color rendering.
Was this given to the planning board?
No,
I don't remember seeing it.
I'm giving it to you now, because the client requested that we request this change, so I just want to submit it to you. And I was hoping that Claire and I could have a conversation about this, not here at this meeting, and then we could talk about it, because otherwise, if you don't, it turns out that the corporation that owns this has a corporate color scheme that they've been using at their shop behind the building, and they like to kind of they like to use the same color scheme. It happens to be the color of the other building now. It's already this sort of brick red, a couple tones of brick red and white trim.
So what changed?
The color,
Just the color red?
just the paint, yeah, exactly. Just the color.
What was the color before?
Kind of a buff,
Here.
buff, beigey yellow. It's the original red, again, this is going back to the other building.
Okay.
But this is for this building, but we're going to also ask you if this is deemed acceptable. It seems like a perfectly nice color scheme to me, but if it's deemed acceptable, then we are going to also ask as an addendum to what you approved before, this same color scheme for that building. But we can come back and have that as a separate hearing if it requires a hearing.
I think it would have to be separate. I don't think we can, Gene, you want to?
I just wondered if those are your sample boards?
They are indeed.
So that's what the color's going to be?
Yep, that's the proposed color, yeah, two different colors. There's a darker-
Can you bring it up here so,
Sure.
and then let the screen, let camera pick it up too, for the folks at home? Those are quite some boards.
I think I would have built them a little more. Where would you like this?
Right there would be fine.
Right here, okay? Sorry. there you go.
If the board wants to step around and take a quick look,
I saw 'em.
you're more than welcome to.
I saw them.
For the board? The main body would be this color. There's an accent color, which is this one, and the rendering kind of indicates what that is. I can walk you through if you want.
I was going to offer to hold that while you
Oh.
got the other one.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Looks the same.
Pays to be a roadie.
It wasn't on the
Oh, these
agenda.
are
Should we
good.
allow this?
Yeah, they're pretty, they have to be pretty hopefully the building will be built as well.
We can change the other.
Darker color, lighter color, different pattern, different materials, because this is
What's up here for this project? For
13,
the last project, we have to reopen
49,
it.
57, and that's the building we're talking about right now. So,
So
I
where,
think-
where are they going to be used on the building? Can you just
Yeah.
explain that?
okay. This is all brick. Down, this is existing brick to be refreshed. This is going to be new veneer brick here because I told you
You want
on
a
the
fire?
plan, rebuilding this wall. Okay, thank you. The darker body color on this building, it will just be this horizontal band. It's broken up by trim, as you can see. And then the lighter color is this field. And this is where the signage for each of the, if there's 4 units, each unit would have its own signed space above its storefront. If a single unit was to take, a single tenant was to take it, we'd figure out how the signage would work on that. And if somebody takes the whole building, same thing. But that's the plan. This is existing brick, this is existing brick. We're really doing very, very little. And what is currently here now is this mock mansard roof. It's a composite shingle, gray, nondescript.
No, we're familiar, we're familiar.
Yeah, okay. I don't, nobody's totally in love with it.
No,
Anyway, so that's the plan. There's very little paint on actually on this one.
thanks.
Thank you.
I think we're okay to accept your color changes for this project, but for the project next door, if you want to change those colors, we're gonna have to open another short hearing for that, okay?
Okay.
We can't just approve this project and then approve change the other project, okay? Because the other project has already been approved already.
Can I
And,
leave this for you guys for the record? I'd like to, if this goes
Well, we'll need to discuss it, but yeah, we can accept the
Yeah.
proposed
Yeah,
modification.
okay? Nothing's accepted here quite yet till we
Yeah,
agree
no,
upon
I'm
it.
sorry. So you have it, you can
Okay.
review it. And if it is accepted, we have a record of it. The paint colors themselves, the numbers are called out on the written narrative that goes with it. So, there we go. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but I thank you for letting me do that. I thought it was important to get that in.
Rachel, you have any further comments?
I do. What is the specification on the veneer brick?
Well, the three storefronts, 2, 3, and 4, that's existing brick.
Yep,
Yeah, and it's whatever it is. I don't know what the
it's a
spec is.
true brick.
Yeah, it's red brick. The other one we'll be using the same brick that we're using next door, which looks just like that other brick. The idea is we want all this to blend and look.
But it's a true thin brick, so it's a thin brick product and not a composite material or faux brick, correct?
It is
Okay.
actual unit masonry.
Okay, so it's actually a brick veneer wall,
Correct.
not a thin brick.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a, yeah, and the underlying structure and the three units is gonna be whatever it is, that's gonna stay and be cleaned up. The other one is gonna be a frame wall with cement board, and then the brick will be applied to it. So again, when it's
So
all done, what we
it is
really
a
would like to
thin
do is have these two buildings not be
It's not a true
one
brick.
large
But
extension,
it's
but
not
have
a,
them
it's not a
neighbors.
cementitious, or not a
Wait a minute.
faux.
When you say cement, you're saying two things right now, and I don't understand. Is it a brick veneer wall or a thin brick that's applied with thin set onto a cement board?
Well, by definition, a veneer wall is a brick wall, it's not a bearing wall. And so it's not a solid
No, but
masonry wall.
there's no cavity in there. There's no.
There's no cavity in there, no.
Okay.
It's applied directly to a structural wall.
So it is a thin brick.
It is a thin brick, but it's an
Okay.
actual
But
unit.
it's true brick.
And it's true brick with true mortar.
Okay.
It's not a, it's not a, what you were
Thank you,
getting
that was
at.
my clarification.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you, yeah.
appreciate that. I'm disappointed to see such a minor renovation on a building that I think really could use an upgrade, but certainly understand what the owner is prepared to do. I personally am more in favor of the color scheme that was originally presented. I think that the color scheme, which is much more akin to what is there today, is quite dated, and I would prefer to see the building as presented in our package.
Shayna?
Regarding color scheme, I don't have strong feelings. I'm not a huge fan, I could be convinced, of the vertical lap in the sign band. I think next door where it's a flat panel is pretty attractive, or would be a more attractive look here.
Can I just make a
Sure.
comment to that? I believe that we actually talked about that at the building next door, and we did not approve the vertical siding. Thank you for the reminder there.
Okay. Jean?
I don't have a preference for the color scheme. I think we should default to what the owner prefers unless there's something really wrong with the red color scheme. And I don't think there is. Otherwise, I think this is approvable with some of the conditions we talked about.
Steve?
First, I want to express a little bit of gratitude for the owner for making the investment. This is an older building, and it does, would benefit from a refresh. So I'm glad to see that's in the cards. I also do not have a strong preference for one color scheme versus the other. Thank you.
I think there's a consensus that the other color is not a problem. Rachel, do you feel strongly that you?
I'm not going to vote against it if everybody else is in agreement. I am not in favor of that color
Okay.
scheme, so I
Fair
just
enough.
want that to be stated.
But this, the vertical siding, are you guys willing to change it up a little bit to make it similar to what you did on the building next door, or you think you feel strongly that we should keep it that way?
No, I would definitely consider looking at, I don't recall exactly I know we had this conversation and we agreed to that, and it was all submitted to the board afterwards as an addendum in the set of drawings. So I will revisit that and see. And, I don't feel strongly about that.
Because I
Well,
think if you can come similar to that, I would be in favor of it. And if you can, look at the other doors and see if you can make it less residential-like. I would much appreciate that.
But we can't do that because that's not this project.
Correct.
We can't put it in.
It's not I'm not making it a part of this project, but it's a wish list I have that's.
And I will take that under advisement. I will think about that and look at it, because again, the doors are yet to be specified because we're focusing on the commercial building, but they're going to be replaced and blended into the rest of the building, so I will do that.
And what are the chances of you talking to the owner about making sort of a green roof up there?
Oh, I'll bring it up with them. Yeah, it'll be part of the notes, and yeah, I'll definitely talk to them about it.
Because I think you'll just enhance the value of those 3 units up there instead of looking out into a black rubber wall, which is the signboard. Oh. And having a deck on the black rubber ground there, you know, having some sort of planting around there would make it look so much nicer. Do you feel comfortable with the vote on this? Somebody want to make a motion?
So let's see, what are the elements? There's the sign band, there was the bike parking, there was the rear vent and louver. Are there other things that
See if they would go over green roof?
I would not put that in as a special condition.
Okay,
But there was a special condition that if accessible upgrades are required at the entry due to the value of construction and the requirements in the state building code, that this project would need to come back in front of the board for modifications to the entry,
Yeah.
to the entries.
Yeah, well, I can quote the sections in the building code that exempt this from for us to have to upgrade those units to handicap accessible. If we change doors for use function because of tenant selection,
we just want to have it on the record saying that
Yeah.
if you're required to make modifications to what's designed right now to meet handicap codes, that you will come back to us. We're not a governing body to decide doesn't meet handicap code or not. We're just going to decide if it does require it to be handicap accessible, you're going to come back to us with whatever changes it may be that you may have to make that happen.
very good.
But if it doesn't, I'm okay. Is that what you want to say, Rachel?
Agreed.
Yes. Sorry.
Is that anything else, Shanna?
No, so the handicap code, the flat panel in the sign band, removing the louver and vent from what is currently the restaurant space, and installing compliant bike parking in the basement. Am I missing anything?
And the sign band.
The flat panels in
Yeah,
the
if the sign ban changes, you'll have to come back to us if it becomes,
No, that's a
No, no.
special condition.
oh,
The special condition of changing the shiplap to a flat panel or a smooth,
getting away from the vertical.
That's right.
And they can use the color scheme that they presented today.
that's right,
Yes,
Yes.
you got that, Sarah?
You should email that color scheme.
that's right.
Yeah, the
other
lighting plan,
was-
that is dark sky.
Yes, we'll have a rendering and a spec for, just like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So is that the motion, Shanna?
Sarah, do you have that all? Is that a sufficient motion? Okay. Yes, I move that we approve this proposal with the special conditions just listed.
Issue a special permit.
Issue a special permit with the conditions just listed.
I'll second that motion.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Shanna?
Yes.
Rachel?
I'm sorry, I just can't get behind the color scheme. I'm a no.
Okay, I'm a yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll take that. Thank you.
All right, next on the, oops. agenda is public hearing for docket 383815 Ryder Street, special permit. Will the proponents please come up? Claire, do you want to introduce this project? And
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Around the side if you like,
Yeah.
whatever's comfortable.
So previously, the redevelopment board held public hearings for this project on February 24th and March 24th, 2025. The ARB voted to grant a special permit with conditions for this docket on March 24th, 2025. The applicant now proposes to construct the approximately 1,000 square foot addition and to renovate the interior of a two-story vacant commercial building with off-street parking located at 15 Ryder Street, Arlington, Mass. in 2 construction phases. At the conclusion of Phase 1, the proposal would establish a mixed-use building with a brewery and approximately 2,500 square foot restaurant. At the conclusion of Phase 2, the proposal would establish a mixed-use building with a brewery and approximately 3,900 square foot restaurant. The applicant is requesting approval for the 2-phase approach to project construction.
thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Director Ricker. My name is Mary Wynn Stanley O'Connor. I represent ABC Beer. With me tonight is Mr. Allen, the principal, and his architect, Dunja. I'm going to have you say your last name. Vujnic. This is a request to just do this in 2 phases. And the reason for that is when Mr. Allen put the project out, when the final development design drawings were done, and he went out to bid, the project was pretty cost prohibitive. So he's not looking, Dunja will talk about the 2 minor changes to the plans that were previously approved, but that he's just looking to do it phased. So if I could turn it over to her, and she can tell you what the minor changes are to the project,
Sure.
the plans.
Do you want us to bring up something on the screen?
Yeah, perfect, the floor plan. From the floor plan, you can see what has been removed is the 1,000 square foot addition.
Could you speak more into the mic, please?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ooh. Removed from the plans is the addition that was planned. That will be in Phase 2. That was the refrigeration addition. We have then moved that into inside of the building, so we have reconstructed some of the brewery operation on the inside. So if you go to floor plan. Yeah, refrigeration has now moved inside the building. As you can see, there is no elevator and stairs that lead up to the mezzanine. The mezzanine was cost prohibitive, so that will be framed and prepared for a later use, but that will be also moved to Phase 2. And the other minor changes that come along with it, if you go into the building elevations, is due to the removal of the addition. There's a new window in the rear, so we're reusing what we were using to be a door into the addition is now a window. We have reduced glazing over the big garage door in the back. There used to be a set of windows there. We've reduced them to eliminate costs. And on the front of the building, 1 window has enlarged. Yeah, and so with respect to lighting, to light the parking lot, we were using the addition to mount one of the light fixtures on it. So now that light fixture has moved onto the corner of the building, and we submitted a lighting plan with it to show how we're lighting the parking lot. It wasn't able to be we discussed that at the last hearing, it's not able to be at the 15-foot height off the floor, so it's about 16'5" in order to be able to reach and get to the corner of the parking lot.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Let me bring up the board. Rachel, do you have any questions on this?
No, I'm supportive of the change and appreciative of them coming back. I do just want to confirm with you, Ken, as the chair, is the intent that we this evening are only reviewing and discussing the elements that have changed and not the original special conditions and other elements of the project that were previously approved?
Yes, what's been approved has been approved, and I'm assuming you guys have already gotten the permit for that too, right? Or no?
Building permit?
Yeah,
No.
okay. But we're not here to discuss what was, discuss what was, had already been approved and talked about. We're here to talk about the changes that they're saying in phasing and the small changes they have mentioned because of the phasing. That's what we're here to talk about.
Thank you. No further comments.
Shana?
I had just one question, which is that it appears that you've removed the access gate from the left side of the beer garden out to the out to the area behind what was the storage in the parking lot. What was the thinking there?
Because now that will be, previously that was access to get around the storage, and now because there is no storage, that space will be used only for trash and any kind of other storage, so there will not need to be an access to it from the beer garden.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all you had?
That's all I had. Thank you for coming back.
Gene?
Yeah, thank you. I have a couple of questions. As some of you may know, I was the one person who voted no on this, not because I thought it was a bad project, but because there wasn't enough thought given to traffic and parking along the way. So I have a question for the planning director. When the last time this came up, there was a question about what would happen where Ryder Street got to the Minuteman Bikeway, and I believe there was some sort of chain preventing cars from going over it. And I believe that there's been some progress about that intersection, but I don't know what it is, so can you please talk about that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So last fall, we were awarded a roughly $94,000 grant to reimagine that connection between Ryder Street and the Minuteman Bikeway at the Ed Burns Arena. We did have concepts drawn, 3 concepts presented in public and were available for public survey. Preferred concept was sort of decided on, and we are moving forward with the consultant to bring that project to 100% design. There will be opportunity for the public to comment on the design as we move through the project, but the goal is to have biddable construction documents for that intersection by the end of the year.
Will it, under the current plans, will it allow people to drive from the Ed Burns Arena parking lot over the bikeway and on Ryder Street?
No.
So what's the plan?
The plan is, it looks like we're going to have pedestrian refuge islands to the side. It looks like the bikeway will just continue through the intersection the way it is now. I would have to go back and consult those concept plans for you to give you a
No,
more
that's good. That's what I needed to
better
know.
idea.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. I have a question about the light study, if you could put that up.
It's near the end.
Thanks. So if you could help me with this, on the light study, there are some houses right on the other side of Ryder Street. Can you explain how they would be affected by the lighting using this light study? Please.
I think the answer is this should not be, it goes back to 0 right at
Well, it's point one.
point
So what does that mean exactly?
at the center of Ryder Street.
Well, no, at the far side of Ryder Street, the side where the houses are.
I believe that's the center of Ryder. That the far side is then one more dimension down.
Okay, so
Yeah, but
those numbers are the
That is
center?
not the yards of the homes opposite Ryder.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out by looking
Yeah,
at
I
this.
apologize. Yeah, that's the center of the street. There's one more half.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Steve?
I have no concerns with the phasing or the minor proposed modifications.
Thank you, Steve. I do have a couple of quick questions. Your phasing, can you give me a rough time schedule as far as what you project the phasing to be? Like, you can open up phase one, and in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, phase two will come in, or what's your projection?
It's kind of hard to say without a crystal ball, unfortunately. So the intention is to open doors and get revenue coming in, and then finish as soon as we're financially able to for phase two. But a lot of things could happen between opening and our ability to complete phase two. So it would be really tough to put an exact date on it.
But your intention is as soon as financially able to do so.
Yes, that's correct. As soon as business finances allow. I mean, phase two is the vision that we've had from the very beginning. It's better for business for us to be operating under phase two plan than it is a phase one. So it's best for the business for us to open phase two as soon as we can.
Okay, I do want to put under the special conditions for this approval is if phase two makes any changes when you come to do it, you have to come back to the board to acknowledge and for us to approve any of those changes. If it's exactly the same, then you're fine. I'm not saying you're doing. I just wanted that to state that.
Well, we may not all agree with that, Mr. Chair.
Well, okay, then we can talk about that. Okay.
Yes, after the comments.
Yes. Okay, but that's my comment. Okay, Gene. That's all I had. I'm going to open up the public comment. As I said before, there seems like a large crowd here. Please don't repeat statements that have already been stated already. We're trying to hear everybody, so that not that we get a bunch of people that either support or disagree with this project or have questions about it. Everybody has a chance to speak and hear all the difference in opinions. So let me start with anybody who wants to speak. Go ahead. Can you come up to there and state your name so the people, the chair, and state your name and address? Thank you. And you have 3 minutes, okay?
My name is Kristen Azar. I live at 22 Ryder Street. I'm curious, this is a private way, and I haven't heard anything about the residents. We do have rights living on a private way and liability issues, whether this is done in phases or not. We have right now it's, commercial, and we still don't have fire lanes. There's no talks of sidewalks going in, safety. We've had multiple issues for the past year of traffic jams. There is such safety issues here going on, and nobody's addressing it. It's just getting washed over. Why is that? Can somebody explain? Is there going to be any safety studies? Is there going to be any sidewalks? Is there any consideration? I see you guys talking about what Mass Ave is going to look like. You're not, what are we looking at?
Can I
Yeah.
answer you now? Yeah. Thank you. What you bring up is something we had talked about before at the original hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So we did address these issues at the original hearing. Okay, so we did not gloss over these issues. All right, and we said, I believe some of the comments that came out at the original hearing is these are pre-existing conditions that you cannot blame the whole project, all these issues on this one project. This project is not causing all these problems. It cannot solve all these problems. Okay, and as a community there, I think you should address those issues, but. This project cannot solve all that project. I think we had all agreed upon that, and we had a 4-to-1 vote to approve this project with all those concerns. So I think we had talked about that before, and if you want to go back to those hearings, it's still recorded. And you can see what we talked about. There's quite a bit of hearings. It was more than one meeting. It was not just they came and we approved it. So we did not gloss over all these issues. We did review these issues.
So what was the outcome with the private way, like in the liability, since you went over that? Is that on the recordings?
We're not going to solve insurance issues or anything else like that. We're just saying that I believe that this does not contribute any additional harm because it's zoned industrial. You are adjacent to an industrial zone area.
And it was
Okay.
also owner occupied. It was never a restaurant. You changed that. Do you understand that there's no parking down there? None whatsoever? It is
And-
not a straight-through street? You wouldn't appreciate this if it was coming into your neighborhood and there was these safety issues lingering over your street. You wouldn't. You wouldn't appreciate it. I mean, you see what the guy just showed you what Mass Ave was going to look like, and that's a big issue. But we're not supposed to be concerned about safety issues. It's like you can't, no one's saying he's causing this, but it should have been taken into consideration before you did such a drastic change down there. It's a small area.
Well, thank you. Your time's up.
I know, you're
and,
really not concerned.
We'll, yes?
Hi, Mariah Contreras. I'm a homeowner at 2 Ryder Street. And like over a dozen of my neighbors, my child's pillow is about 100 feet from the proposed beer garden. So I wasn't able to make, due to time conflict, the hearings last spring. My understanding is that your responsibility as board members is to protect the public interest and welfare. And I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned that docket 3838 was approved based largely on assurances and not substantial evidence. I want to clarify my understanding of your process, particularly around safety, liability, and also the significant misinformation contained in the Senior Transportation Planner's March 24th report informing your decision. So in safety, Arlington Zoning Bylaw Section 333C requires your board to determine that the requested use will not create undue traffic congestion or unduly impair pedestrian safety. This finding is not optional. This is a legal requirement. And yet Ryder Street and Beck Road already have documented safety issues. They are narrow, heavily traveled by all kinds of residents of Arlington. And these issues appear throughout the public record, including extensive abutter documentation of unsafe conditions going back to 2021 when the landlord of 15 Ryder went before the ZBA. So my first question is, did anyone on this board consult the Arlington Police Department to request an evaluation of pedestrian and cyclist safety on Ryder Street and Beck Road in regards to operating an alcohol-serving restaurant and beer garden on Ryder?
Just please answer all your questions. I'll get back to them. I'm not going to answer one by one. It's not going to be debate
Okay.
back and forth.
Did anyone consult Arlington Police Department about how they are able to respond to traffic or safety incidences on a private way?
Is that all you have?
No. And Ryder Street, so I also am concerned about liability. Ryder Street and Beck Road have mixed ownership. And contrary to the planner's memo, to our knowledge, the town is a partial owner of Ryder Street. And the applicant landlord holds the most interest, as do a number of other abutters, but not all abutters. But that means liability exposure is unclear and potentially serious under Arlington's bylaws on public and private ways. And the March 24 Senior Transportation Planner memo incorrectly suggests that the town is legally unable to act on Ryder Street because it's a private way. This is factually incorrect and potentially materially misleading to your board. So I would like to know what legal guidance did this board obtain from town council, Attorney Cunningham, regarding liability exposure for us residents, other owners of Ryder,
You have
and
3
for the
minutes are up.
town,
Can you wrap it up?
and for the town itself.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. You, sir?
Good evening. My name is Don May, and I want to
begin by asking a question. Am I correct? Well, it's kind of, I'll state it a certain way. Is it correct that the whole issues of suitability, parking, traffic, safety has already been decided in the initial judgment of the board?
That's my understanding.
Is it also correct that the scope of this hearing tonight is solely about approval of the changes in scope and the phasing of the project?
That's my understanding.
Okay, so really, most of the comments should relate to how this phasing and how these changes could impact the public.
That would be my understanding, but we're willing to, listen to people.
You're willing to listen, but as far as taking things into account and rendering judgment, the criteria would be solely how the change in the requested permit would impact the public. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, and just after I've said that, I would just like to offer my support for the project. I think it's something that the town needs, and I think a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised by how many people walk or ride their bike to this establishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Hahn. I live at 17 Beck Road. I just want to sort of understand the phased approach because candidly, everyone knows our neighborhood and the complexities around the neighborhood. So the impact of a multi-phase approach, how is that going to impact the residents? Candidly, this situation was brought up to the select board when there was the request to do beer gardens, and the select board, another division of Arlington town government, chose to go and not approve that because of the safety concerns. So we're just trying to really wrap our heads around the implications. It was posted on the Arlington list, and candidly, I know there's only a few residents on those two private ways, but we matter. We're taxpayers, and this is going to have a detrimental effect on the neighborhood itself. And as Arlington Redevelopment Board, I would really hope that you would take the brave approach to look at the residents and not always look at the dollar signs. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
Hi, excuse me. Hi, my name is Tim Walsh. I live at 75 Webster Street, and it's actually my first time at one of these meetings, but I felt compelled to come tonight because I am in support of the project. I own several businesses here in Arlington, home-based. I've actually got an opportunity to get to know Tom and his team a little bit just very recently. And one thing I've learned about them is that they are extremely good corporate citizens. They live here in Arlington. They want to do right by the community. That's really kind of key to their entire business model. So one thing I just wanted to sort of point out for the record, this is not a company coming in from outside of Arlington. These are people who are from here. And, I think they've already proven for the time that they have been in business is that they are very community minded. And I think they will continue to be. So I feel like and I understand the issues that the neighbors have, but I do feel like, there are two things, right? There's the town's responsibilities in light of this project, but I do feel like, the business owners are very committed to Arlington, and I think they're going to want to do right by the town. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right back there.
Oops, got a shock there. Karen Turer, 525 Summer Street. Do I just talk?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I am not in a butter, but I am a neighbor. I walk through the neighborhood every single night with my dog. And with it being that sort of deserted on Ryder Street, especially the part right where the DPW is, it doesn't feel that safe. And I would love the life and a little bit more bustle of the beer garden being there. I think that would be really great. And also I support the multi-phase approach to get them open more soon, because since the pandemic, we just have lost a lot of the community life of Arlington, and I've seen what a great job the brewing company has done to try to bring a lot of that back. Everything from that winter market, I can't remember what it was called, at Town Hall, and just some of the things they've done at the Res. They have really improved the quality of life here, so the sooner they open, the better. And if the multi-phase helps that, that's great. So.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Sure, sir.
My name is Darrell King. I'm from Belmont. I'm a former town meeting member, former Conservation Commission member. It's pretty clear to me that this project has been very carefully vetted and approved by this board and others in the past. All that's being asked now is to change the scope so that they can afford to financially get in the business of providing for the community. I fully support this project, and I think you should go ahead and approve this so they can get going in the business of providing for the community and making money. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close public opinion and return discussion back to the board. Rachel, you want to, anything to say?
No, I don't have any further comments.
Shannon?
I have a question for my fellow board members, which is that if we were to approve the two-phase, is there a point at which they would need to renew the permit? Is there a point at which phase two would need to be done, or they would need to come back and renew the permit? Or
Steve?
I believe the special permits are valid for a period of 3 years.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further. I'm fine with this.
Jean?
So this proposal presents us with an interesting opportunity we usually don't have. And that is to see the impact of a project when it's partially done but not completely done. I think it makes sense to us to approve phase one, but then to require them to come back before phase two is approved. And the reason I suggest that is we will then have a year or two of actual on the ground, what's going on. If traffic turns out to be a problem, if loud noise, etc., is a problem, we will know before we approve or don't approve. Well, it won't be me, I'm not going to be on the board anymore. But, you know, before whomever is on the board approves phase two. So my suggestion is we approve phase one and require them to come back to get approval for phase two.
Even if they make no changes, just
Yes.
they have to come. Okay.
Yes, because
I just want to be clear.
Because this is an amazing change, an amazing opportunity that we hardly ever have to see impacts.
Okay. Steve?
Nothing further. I thank Mr. Benson for his proposal, but I'm not inclined to support it.
Okay. I'm not inclined personally to support it unless there's some changes. Rachel, you? Jean's,
Correct. I'm in favor of supporting the phased approach as presented by the applicant.
Shanna?
As am I.
Okay. Are there any other discussion points that we want to talk about? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the revised phased approach as presented by the applicant.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Oh, I am voting no, and I'm voting no not because I think the first phase is wrong. I think they should do it, but I think they should come back before the board before they do phase 2. That's why I'm voting no.
Thank you, Jean. Hannah?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. So we have an approval of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And you'll get the, I don't think there's any comments, were there? Any conditions?
Well, they'll still get the,
You'll get the minutes, your planning department. Thank you.
They asked me when they would go on, and I told them that, so they should be here.
Okay. Okay, if you guys, people are going to talk, please talk outside the hallway. We still have a meeting to conduct here. Thank you. The next public hearing, the proponents aren't quite here yet, so let's skip ahead to the next one, which is the discussion items for, which is number 7, the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Planning Committee. And is, they here?
Oh, yeah.
were you going to take number 7?
Yeah, I was doing number
We
7.
can take number 7.
Okay, just 1 minute, okay?
That would be Claire.
Where's Kate?
Katie's not here, I will be, I can present this.
Okay, were you able to add them in that I asked you to add?
We need to have a conversation about that.
Or you didn't add
Did
that?
not add.
Disappointed.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Talk about it.
fair enough. All right, Claire, you want to take this up?
Sure. So, as you can read in the letter from Katie Lucier, Economic Development Coordinator, the committee, the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan Implementation Committee, is a committee that this board established in 2019 to look at the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan and continue the work that was sort of elucidated in that plan. The committee has been meeting, but all terms have lapsed at this point. So to continue to implement that plan, we are asking the board to reappoint all committee members who have continued to actively serve, appoint several new members, and extend the committee term from 1 to 2 years. There's a roster of membership here, looking to have them confirmed hopefully as a slate this evening. And then a few unfilled vacancies. We're still looking for folks to fill those roles. So if the board would entertain reconfirming, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the 10 members of the committee.
Are there any discussions about, from the board on the 10 members?
Well, this is more on the committee charge in general, and if it's out of scope, Mr. Chair, I'll withdraw the question, but I'm hoping that, once town meeting ends, that we, or the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan could meet with this board once a month to talk about where they are, what they're doing, and to obtain feedback. Just to for the sake of making sure that everyone's in alignment. That's my. I have no objections to renewing them, but just as a process, I just wanted to make a process note about going forward. Thank you.
Sure, I have no problem with that, and that's not. I don't believe that's out of scope. I think this board stopped and started several times.
Mm-hmm.
One meaning COVID and so forth. So, yeah. Gene?
I'm fine with the existing members, reappointing them.
For a 2-year term?
Yep.
Okay. Hannah?
Yep, agreed.
Rachel?
I would just make an amendment to Steve's suggestion. I think it would be helpful there is a timeline of both public engagement as well as process from now until 2027 town meeting for one of the charges of this committee, which is to explore the Arlington Heights Business District. I would suggest that this committee identify major milestones to come to this board rather than monthly. I think that this committee meets monthly, and that might be a bit more frequent than this board would find helpful. That's all.
No, I think that's reasonable. I'm only asking because, I'm friends with some town meeting members. Sometimes they ask what's going on with the Heights Action Plan, and all I can say is I got nothing.
No, I completely agree, and I think perhaps presenting the timeline at whether it's the next meeting or one of our very near upcoming meetings, and then
That sounds
identifying
splendid.
the major milestones is a great suggestion that you made.
I'm fine with what's on the list there, but I would encourage the committee to get more business people involved. It seems like the last few meetings, there's been not enough action, and it's very disappointing, to say the least, about moving forward and getting things done. There seems to be a lack of traction, and I'm concerned about that, and I want to encourage the committee to step it up. And I also want to add that if a committee member does not or has not or cannot commit to this committee and they miss a total of 3 meetings, that they withdraw their name. We need people that are already motivated and want to get involved in this. I just don't want to have a bunch of names here and have 4 people work on something and that's it. It should be more of a community outreach. So that's my comment.
Can I make a motion to approve the committee members as submitted?
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm a yes too.
Great, thank you. And it looks like the applicant for 455 is here.
All right, thank you very much. So we will return to article number 6, and that is, okay. These things are so long here. Public hearing for docket 3673, 455 Mass Ave. Special permit here continued from 12:15. You want to set up? Yep, thank you. Claire, do you want to start?
Sure, just 1 second. Okay, great, thank you. So, following the meeting last December, the applicant, the applicant's architect went back and reworked the rendering for the building and submitted both an updated rendering and a design narrative on the same architectural sheet. And rendering looks like it, the rendering is somewhat responsive to the board's comments in December, but the applicant is here to answer any questions and continue the conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, if you remember, my name is Corrine Doherty. I am the attorney representing the developer for this application. I have with me tonight, again, the project manager, John Murphy, and the architect, Dave Barsky. And I believe all of us, but in particular, the architect is here. He's the one who made the changes to the drawings, and he provided a narrative as Claire stated. So any questions you have with regard to the update, we would certainly be willing to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Steve, do you have some comments?
I have a few. Oh, good. That was the one I was going to ask to have shown. I like the treatment on the right below the second floor cornice. Especially with sort of alternating the color schemes. I think it helps tie the two sides together, or the two portions of the building together. About the cementatious fiberboard siding, or cementatious fiber, the fiberboard brick. Will that, what's currently be there, is that what's proposed? Are you proposing to keep that, or something different?
No, we're proposing to keep that.
Okay, nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Jean?
Well, I think you did a better job with the second floor, but it's not it doesn't meet what my objections were, that it doesn't provide any connection to the first floor at all. And Claire, if you can go back to the rendering that we approved, I would appreciate that.
Just a second.
Thank you. It still doesn't look anything like what we approved. I expressed my dislike of what you did with the second floor, and I still think it doesn't do what you were approved to do. Same with part of the first floor where you now have the fake brick. What's interesting is when you look at this building in historical context, it's changed a lot over time. It's not like you can pick any one year and say, oh, right, that's the historical year of the building. So this would have been a nice way to update the building. And you made these changes without coming back to the board. I think it was inappropriate. I also think it was inappropriate to use the fake brick. So I don't really have any questions.
Shannon?
So there's, let's see. So you note that there's a window added at the corner. I appreciate that. At various places, it's listed as a fake window or a window opening that's blocked from the inside. Or can you talk a little bit about what's happening there?
An actual window. So in the event that the tenant would choose to open that, it would be, it's a real window. It simply is going to be blocked from the inside as a temporary measure until and if someone decided that they wanted to have that window active. It's exactly the same as the other windows.
And when you say blocked from the inside, do you mean?
I think probably the best would be probably a film on the back side of the glazing that did not allow anybody to look inside would probably be the best solution there. A fused film.
That
the window is an actual window.
Okay, we have requirements about transparency, the percent of your storefront that needs to be transparent, and so we would need to look at that. But I think generally speaking, having a window there is a step in the right direction for me. My other question was if you could speak to the material intended for the molding. What is?
Can you come up to the
can you-
microphone? Can you come up to the microphone, please?
Can you talk about it a little bit more? A PVC composite, what's that going to look like? But what will it, are we, so much of what we see in the neighborhood is stone or metal cornices, and so what is this?
This is going to be a painted PVC, which will, it's not going to look like PVC. It's going to basically be, the color will match what's on the rendering.
Okay. I don't have further questions at this time.
Rachel?
I appreciate the changes that were made at the first floor and the attempt to bring down the scale at the second floor. I agree with Jean at the second floor. What's proposed doesn't necessarily achieve what we were looking to do with adding a more dimensional element similar to the awning construction that is over the windows on the first floor, to tie the first and the second floor together and to add some dimensionality. We have visually started to break up the large expanse between the top of the windows and the top of the cornice on the second floor, but it's still very flat. Such just a comment. My question on the first floor, again, because I do appreciate the work that was done to try and tie the two sides of this corner retail space together, or business space together. How the sign bands don't, the signs don't really have a place where they're kind of seated in the overall composition. Do you have thoughts on what you would propose to do with the signage for this corner?
Are you referring to the dentist
dental pro.
sign, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no sign panel on this building, the way that often these strip centers are done. I don't think that would be appropriate, frankly. I also would argue that this notion of trying to make the first floor and the second floor tie together, I think that's not a valid point, to be perfectly honest. I don't think that these two, the upper masses and the lower masses have any particular, like the relationship that you're looking for. Just because if they had the same materials does not mean that they would be tied together, in my view. There's a base of this building which is a masonry base, and there's the wood lap siding up above with its architectural detail is not trying to be the same as the base. I think what's happening here in terms of just an overall improvement on the way this building has looked for the past 20 years is the fact that you do have a unified material at the base of the building that runs all the way along, and I think that it actually is an improvement that it's, unless you were going to make the upper portion of the building brick, which I think is not realistic, or you were going to, I saw the original rendering where there was some relationship between I guess it was an implied precast stone at the base. I really don't know what the upper material that looked the same color was supposed to be, but since we've entered this project, it was always lap siding, so
I think, you know, the other thing is that just a comment about the lack of relief up above on the second level where the windows are. I think that the rendering reads a bit flatter than what would actually be happening there. Those pediments would create shadow lines. It's the so it would not look as flat as it does on the screen.
Can you speak to the because I'm interested in hearing what obviously the design intent was. What are you thinking? What was your intention for the dimensionality between the lap siding and the elements that surround the windows?
I mean, if you go along, I kind of did a little survey of the street and the buildings that have been untouched. There's a lot of architectural detail there. I grant you that. A lot of beautiful precast stone and all kinds of other architectural elements, quite a richness in some of those buildings. This building has some of the remnants of that. I feel strongly that, for example, that the existing stone cornice that's along Mass Ave should be retained. There's no attempt to duplicate it for various reasons, not the least of which is that the condition that was encountered by the developer when they started this renovation was left over from the Leader Bank, which had been there for some 20 years, as I understand it. God only knows what's going on under there. What I can tell you, and how I advised the client is that any attempt to alter or get involved with that cornice above where the Leader Bank was, we really don't know what's under there. The entire roof system is tied to that existing molding. So anything that you did there would entail a complete redo of that roof, essentially.
So was your specific question almost the depth and
Yes.
texture of, so above the windows, the design? What is your thought of the architectural detail for coming off?
Well, I mean, we have it was really a question of choosing which architectural elements would fit there in terms of scale, in terms of the ability to execute. So the pediment is a very universal classical element that you see all over the place. So that was something that.
I'm just looking for the depth. How
Well,
far
it's
does it protrude?
the molding is going to protrude out about, I think, by the time you build it all out, you're looking at somewhere in about the 4.5-inch range above it, which will be very significant in terms of creating some relief there. The pediment composition is a very classical one. I didn't try to reinvent the wheel there.
Totally understand. Again, I'm just trying to understand the dimensionality in terms of the front plane of that pediment.
It will
detail
project out
against the siding, because again, I think what we're reacting to is
it's not a flat surface.
Right.
It has an OG and
there's
it comes
a
out, and we try to explain that by showing some of the profiles of the.
I think what Rachel's trying to get at, okay, is this. And I'm just talking about just around the windows, the window trim, the vertical trim, and the pediment up there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is it padded out so much so there's a shadow line onto the siding, so it creates a shadow line. Right now, it could be like a 1 by whatever. Are you going to pad it?
Yeah, no,
out?
it is doubled up. So you're talking about 1.5 inches total. So there's approximately a 3/4-inch projection beyond the lap siding to frame out the window. That could easily be adjusted to be deeper. I don't think that would be appropriate, but it's certainly something that.
It was a question for Rachel. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1.5 inches is.
1.5 inches, yeah.
Okay.
Call it that.
And then just to answer the other question about the signage, all those signs up currently were part of our sign package approved. They're already installed.
I understand that. My question was, as we were relooking at this whole corner in totality, was thinking about where now that we added another window, like what is the right location for those signs? I agree it's challenging with the architecture of the corner. I was just asking the question.
No problem.
Thank you.
Are you saying that Dental Pro was approved?
Administratively by the department.
Yeah, we did a total sign package for the entire street all at one time.
And that vinyl temporary Dental Pro was approved?
Yes. We have a uniform.
That's very unfortunate, okay? And disappointing. I'll say that right now. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That was my question.
Okay. Are you done? One of the big concerns we had, so let me recap. So on the second floor, you're going to try to create some more shadow lines around the windows and the pendants by increasing it to like an inch and a quarter off the, inch and a half off the siding. So there's more of a shadow line there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be, the way that they would do it is they would have to actually cut away the existing, a saw cut of the
That's
existing
fine.
lap
I don't need to know all the details. I just want to know the results. And then on your corners there, you added these bands of board there. There's a trim that runs across horizontally on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just make that come out a little further, so this shadow line there, it would help.
I think 4.5 inches is substantial.
Not the height, padding
No,
it out.
that's the depth. By the time you start from the tip of the profile of the molding and have it.
That does not come out 4.5 inches. Are we talking about the same portion?
I'm not sure. I'm talking about the pediment and the horizontal, which is all one profile.
Talking right here.
Oh, that would, no, that's a flat.
Yes,
flat. Yeah. It's flat, but again, that's the same treatment, the idea that it projects out beyond the lap siding. It's not flush with the lap siding.
So it'll be like at least an inch and a half or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So it reads.
So it would have to be even possibly slightly more than that in order for the panel to be inset, which is the intent.
As long as there's some shadow line right here to create more of.
Yeah, that's a very standard kind of paneling that
It doesn't
is.
appear that way. That's what I'm just saying. Okay?
Yeah,
That's
well,
very nice.
it's, yeah, again, the Photoshop and the light, it makes it look flat. If the light was coming at it from a different angle, I think you would be able to appreciate the.
I appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this.
I'm sorry, say again?
I hate that cornice.
We feel that it was actually a victory to make it, to tie it into the.
All you did was put two cornices on top of that.
Oh, no, that's existing, that we're working with what's there. I thought you were referring to the actual treatment around the doorway, this area.
This is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I applaud that.
Yeah.
Where this stops and what this is and how this.
This is a build-out to hide whatever it is that's behind it, and I don't disagree with you that you know, that in if we knew what was going on there and we started from scratch, you know, I think it's built out to hide whatever damage was done behind it, but it's.
I'm willing to overlook some of the sins down here and whatever else that's different from the original proposal. This I am not willing to overlook. Okay, that everybody sees. It's obvious. It sticks right in the corner. It's very obvious. Okay, and all you guys did was put two pieces of molding right on top where it steps back. I don't think that's enough. You have to do better than that. Okay, so I'm asking you to see if you can come up with something better. I don't know what the rest of my board members think.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Ken? What are you proposing for the material at the surround there at the corner? Is that a precast stone, or is that a PVC like the cornice above?
It's basically it's a stucco, a reinforced stucco with actual precast along the base where it meets the sidewalk. So that the stucco material, it's a smooth, sandy, cementitious material that is made to match the precast along the base that's proposed.
So if I could perhaps propose a bridge between what Ken is reacting to and what you just shared about the material around the corner entrance, I think having that kind of a textured material
That could happen very
as
easily,
we are,
actually.
right, against that smooth PVC cornice that Ken is objecting to, I think might be part of what the challenge is there. So
That could be achieved quite easily, actually.
right,
I
so
think that's a
I think if there's an
laudable plan.
EFS solution with a profile that perhaps more closely aligned. Ken, are you looking for something that more closely aligns with the more singular profile that we're seeing to the left in the original stone, rather than this two?
I'm objecting really to the transition between the old existing and the new. It's like right at the corner. If they move that transition over one more bay, I think it would look so much better.
So you would want them to cover or remove some of the original stone?
I would have them cover, not remove. Just because it was that, if you go back to the original leader.
Pardon me. Hi. My name is Cynthia Pisciuto. I'm part of the ownership.
Okay.
My family owns the building. I'm going to go back because I know that you all work in a silo, but we went to historical. And the first comment that they made is that 20 years ago, they do not understand how Leader Bank was able to cover all that material with metal and put that sign up and put the pink tile up. At no point did we say that that was going to remain. In fact, the predecessor to the current town planner, Jenny Raitt, was aware that there was an ongoing issue as the tiles were falling down, causing a hazardous condition during COVID. Now, it's a private matter between us and Leader Bank on how we resolved that issue. But we had to look at the issue that was at hand, which was tile falling from a building from a certain height. That was a very big concern with us. I am concerned with safety all the time. I'm also concerned with cost. Those are two items that they're not an endless abundance of. It is our name on the guarantee of the loan, not the redevelopment board and not the town of Arlington. We have been trying to work with this town since we started this 3 years ago. We got permission to do what we did with the brick. It was approved a year ago, and it was approved by the administratively. We have no idea, so we were never told, Mr. Benson, that we had to come back here at any time. We were approved by historical. We were told that historical was the one that we should talk to. If historical was not who we needed to talk to, then we don't understand why we had to go in front of them. We were told by administratively that we could continue doing what we were doing because historical was telling us we did a great job. Chairman, we are trying to cooperate, but we need some cooperation from you. We have been here multiple times on the same issue. We have been talking about this for over a year. I understand that you are an architect, and I very much was well aware during 882 Mass Ave that you said that we could come to you and Rachel and have multiple architects involved. But this is the person that we hired. So we would like cooperation. We would like a decision this evening that is made and go on with our lives to finish the building. So if it is something that is feasible, that we can handle administratively,
Are you done?
great.
I want to say a few things, okay? Gene, why don't you go ahead and start off?
I'll just say two things. One is the permit we issued to you back in 2021 says any substantial or material deviation during construction from the approved plans and specifications is subject to written approval of the Arlington Redevelopment Board. No question about that. And you never came back to the board. The other thing, you may not have been here last time, or you were in back so we didn't see you. We said, in some way, that's all past history. Now we see where you are. Now the question is how to get to some place that's acceptable to everyone. But, you know, if you're going to point fingers, you should be pointing fingers whoever told you not to pay attention to the special permit condition.
Thank you, Gene. I believe we've been trying to work very fairly with you. Okay? Now, we've bent over backwards for you guys on different changes, on numerous jobs, not only this job, other jobs, where we made approval for things and on your special permit, and you guys didn't follow it through. It's simple as that. But we're not here to say, okay, repeat back to go back to what we approved. All right, you guys are not first-time developers. You guys develop all the time, so you guys know when you change something from what's been approved, you go back to the agency that you made the changes to. You don't go to another agency and say, approve this. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay. And for you guys to say that they have jurisdiction over us because you got approval from some historic commission that supersedes our approval, okay? Now, if you want to sit and argue, we will, but
We're not
I'm
going
not
to sit
here
and
for that.
argue. However, we are very confused on what the town planner is allowed to do administratively and the assistant town planner. If they have no ability to make or authority to make a decision, then that should have been made very clear to us, and we would have come back in the summer, in the spring, when this discussion was being made. So we are misinformed at all times. We are relying on the town planner and the assistant town planner, which I believe we are supposed to be doing. Do they have, so just correct me
You know
if I'm
what?
wrong, do
Can
they
we-
have any authority?
Can we just move on to a solution? If we can sit and argue,
If we
will.
can move on to a cost-feasible solution that we can agree on tonight, then that's great. But cost-feasible would be the key word for us at this point.
Well, it's going to have to look appropriate for us, okay? You have your agenda, we have ours, okay? Well, let's try to work together for this, okay? We never said that you have to change it back and remove stuff that we don't like. We just said we had things here that are done. One of the things is the windows. You guys all of a sudden brought the windows down, and we said, okay, make a treatment. You got rid of the quarter stuff there. Make a treatment. We're making suggestions here, okay? So I believe that's very unprofessional what you're doing, accusing us of not trying to work with you, all right? So if you would take that tone, we can stop it right here. But if you want to work with us, we will.
Why don't you present what you want to present, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. But I think at this point, if you like the design and it's a matter of just extending that piece out, we can certainly work to get this resolved. Our goal here tonight is to resolve this matter. It's not to prolong it and kick the can down the road to an additional meeting, more costs with an architect to make additional renderings. And I understand what you're saying about your process in your town being different, but what I don't think the town of Arlington understands is, I know that you have authority because you're this special authority granting entity. But in order to pull a permit, when it's in a historic district, you have to go in front of the historic commission. And then when they make recommendations, and we hire an architect, and we hire an engineer, and we put together a plan to get approved by historic, and then we have to go back in front of historic when the materials change. What you don't understand is every time that we go to one of these meetings, it means you have to hire an architect. In my case, they have to hire an attorney. Everybody has to come to the meeting, and then we initiate the plan. We have to file with the building department in order to issue the permit, have the permit changed, have the plans reapproved. And then we come back again and we hear from this board, disregard everything that historic said. And while you want it to look a certain way, they had a completely different I guess, look and feel that they wanted for the building. And we're kind of in the middle saying, well, we have to go in front of historic. That's what the rules, that's what the law says. But we also have to go in front of the ARB. We're willing to work for you or work with you, but you have to work with us.
I believe we have, okay?
And again, we also had to work with historic, who all of that money that we spent changing and designing and again, engaging an engineer, all that money went out the window.
Well, we have no jurisdiction over the historic, okay? All I know right now, I'm telling you, is you do not have to go back in front of the historic again. That's what town council said.
I know, you have
Okay.
told me that, and town council has told me that.
So right now, I'm trying to get to a point where
Yes, and that's what we want to.
Okay, so
We
let's
wanna
stop
resolve
looking back, okay? We're looking forward right now, okay? So on the second floor, we wanted you to make some changes to give it more depth. You guys talk about that and come back with another proposal of saying there's more depth, okay? The other issue right now is that cornice. The transition of that cornice and how it looks doesn't look right, okay? Right now, as far as the signage, you got approval for the signage. I am not going to say anything more. I think the signage was approved in error, but I'm not going to say anything about that, okay? Because I would never have approved vinyl siding that's hung on the side of a building. But never said, regardless, if you say you got approval for that, I'm going to let that one go, all right? So I'm not here to work against you guys, but right now, it's still not there. And right now, that cornice is really bothering me. I'm not sure what the rest of the board says, but that's really bothering me. And I'm asking you, there's ways to solve things. You didn't hire us as an architect to solve your problems. We're just giving you your issues, and I'm hoping your architect will come up with a nice solution. Okay?
Can I get a little more of an idea of what you're looking for with the cornice? Are you looking to reduce the size of it, or?
To see if there are.
Let me check with the rest of the board what they think, because right now I'm giving you my opinion.
Yeah,
want
I
the
know you
rest
don't
of-
like it, but I'm not really sure what you're looking for, and if
Then let
I
me see
knew
what the
that,
rest
that
of the
would
board
help.
says. If the rest of the board says they're fine with it, then I'm outvoted, I'm gonna let it go. Okay, but I'm just telling you what my opinion is. Steve?
I like it. I think it has character. It,
Gene?
you know,
Okay.
it's two different sides of a corner, and it makes it really clear.
Gene?
Starting with the second floor, it sounds like what we've heard from the architect is that there is some sort of dimensionality to it. So it sounds like that's solved, unless I'm missing something. So it sounds like the only issue is the cornice, and I'm not clear what your problem is with the cornice.
Okay. Shanna?
Regarding the second floor, I can live with what's proposed for the second floor, given that the depth given the depth that has been discussed. The cornice, that transition point is a little funny. I don't love it. I could probably come to live with it if that were the last open item.
Rachel?
So I would definitely want to see, I think we could get to I don't love the upper story. I think it's much better than what we have now. And I think that I would want to see submitted to us a section that would show the depth, because again, we would be approving this based on a rendering, which I know you have said, you clarified for us what the depths are as proposed. My biggest issue with the cornice is the transition between the stucco and PVC. I think if we were to move to a PVC, to a stucco material from the PVC.
I think that's a great idea, and it's easily, the idea, if I've got it right, is that we want to try to have all of the texture of all of those elements that are of that color, and that it's an implied, back in the day, it wouldn't be made out of PVC. There wasn't any PVC, so it would have been made out of stone because that's the prevailing material. So I think that would, I think, go a long way to help to unify that as in contrast to a more textured surface, to go to the smooth surface. I think if they were both of similar, that would be a good thing.
I think that the cornice that you have proposed is better than what's there today. To Ken's point, is there a way to, again, if you're going with a stucco or some sort of a cast material, is there a way to create a profile that's much closer to the profile that, understanding that it will be shorter?
No,
profile.
My understanding and what's easily accomplished under the circumstances, given that exists, is to actually apply a texture to it that would make it, that would tie it into the texture of the precast that's already on the building, and the idea of having exactly the same color and the same kind. So it's not going to be a smooth painted finish. It will be a sanded type of finish.
I appreciate that, and that clarifies regarding the texture and the coloration. My question is around the profile.
The profile is that's a heavier lift.
Right. So my question to you is there a way to achieve something that is more similar to the existing stone on the left? Because even though we are now projecting out and we have a shallower cornice, if rather than this new two-faceted profile that you're proposing,
we are talking about the profile on the first floor, right?
Correct.
Or are we talking about? I'm a little.
I will say what is over to the left that you're pointing to is more similar to what is currently on the building now. No, going down the right, across the corner. This rendering essentially is proposing the double, but we are closer to a single currently on the building.
you have just a shed, basically. You have, because I'm looking at the photo of what's there now.
Yeah, it is boxed out over all the damage.
It is just boxed. What I'm asking for is a more, to take that datum and that projection and to mimic that in the cornice that you have running around this section to the right.
Can you slide that rendering over so we can see more of the right-hand side of it? It's being cut off. Yeah, thank you.
Go for it. That's my suggestion. That's all I.
When you asked me earlier, okay, is the transition right here between this and how it turns the corner? That's my big objection. I like this. If this is enclosing something, I'm either saying you extend this over so that it has more of a flanking side to the entry, or create something along here, and maybe this pops up just a little bit more, and this becomes the piece. And that's, this one thing here becomes the transition between this and that.
So the second option you just said would be more feasible, just because the contour you see on the front of the building now is really how it is. So when that old facade was up with Leader Bank, we took it essentially, it was always jogged out. And then above the lobby to the left, that's the natural. So your second suggestion on that corner, I think is the...
I'm going to leave it up to your architect to come up with something brilliant, okay? But just that the transition doesn't happen here. This right here becomes the transition. You got this right here that dives into something that's special here, and then this dives into something that's special here. And you get maybe 20 feet, 10 feet of something that...
We can do that.
can borderline the two, okay? And, you know, I think that'd be more acceptable.
I see what you're saying.
Hmm?
I see what you're saying.
Yep. That's the only thing that really bothers me right now. And being yelled at.
Okay. Yeah, I can work with that. I have a better understanding of what you're looking for, and that helps a lot.
So is there enough direction from us and there's enough clarity?
Okay, so let me summarize, since I'm going to be the one. Okay, so we're going to better articulate the relief of the architectural treatment around the windows on the second floor to show more vividly, and I actually have a section already, so I can show you in graphic detail exactly what we're talking about in terms of that treatment. That's great, no problem. I like your idea, actually, of using the corner element to make a transition between what's going on Arlington Street and what's going, rather on Mass Ave, and what's going on the other street. I think that's brilliant. So those are the two things and so the everything else is basically, we're talking about the molding, the transition of the molding and the articulation of the treatment around the windows. It sounds like those are the two big things.
The material of the molding.
And sorry?
And sorry, not the molding, and the material of the cornice.
And the material of the cornice, sure. Yeah.
That vinyl sign is gonna go soon. Are you gonna
Where's
put?
We can't, just leave the vinyl sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but we did get it approved.
Fair
We
enough.
followed
Fair enough. Okay, I'll shut
the
up.
previous chair's directions. We actually did that to conform, even though we did not have to. All the remaining tenants, any of the new tenants, we paid for their signs so that we could conform to the current regulation because the building wasn't conforming prior to that, so we did that to cooperate. But thank you.
The lap siding is a cementitious material, just for the record.
So I think that we're clear on, if I can make a suggestion, I think we're clear on what is necessary. I don't feel comfortable leaving things up to administrative approval in this particular case, so I would want to see the revised corner detail and the section, so that we could make an approval. I think it sounds like that can be done fairly efficiently, and we can certainly, my suggestion would be, and obviously it's up to the chair, would be to find a date at which we can close these items out.
Would it be possible for us to submit it and not have to appear and just have you vote on it instead of having to appear again for another meeting? So in other words, we would submit the plan with all of the changes and all of the additional information that you request, and have you kind of administratively through the board approve it, or?
I don't want administrative approval on this. If you submit it to us and we review it and we have some comments, wouldn't you want at least one person here to listen to the comments? If there's any, hopefully there wouldn't be any.
It would be helpful for me to be able to create a draft for you to look at and have some feedback. If we love it, we like it, but, and then that way we can be, as opposed to coming back, weeks later and in this formal setting, we would be able to have a parlay so that we would get to a final.
I have no problem with that, but we would still have a formal parley at the end.
Yeah, that's
just to get it-
fine, but
just
at
to
least
follow
I know that you guys, that we're kind of going in the right direction.
When do you think you can send us something?
Soon, quickly, maybe like in a couple of weeks, if that works for you. I mean, I could probably do it sooner, but I just know that I'd rather give myself more time and over-deliver than.
It's up to you guys. We're
Yeah.
not gonna.
We need a moment, please.
Sure.
When's the next meeting that we could?
We have meetings every Monday now.
Oh,
Not next, there's not one next week.
Yeah, next Monday's a holiday, but.
Sorry, we have one
Monday.
until town meeting. That's just the way, there's just so much stuff going on.
Okay, usually submissions have to be made the week before if it's a holiday. Does that mean it has to be submitted the Friday before?
Right now, I'm, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking potentially the meeting on March 9th. We would need materials.
March 9th. That's a month away.
I
Can we do
don't
the
know that
23rd?
there's room on the agenda on the 23rd. Those are our next couple of meetings.
I mean, I'm fine personally sitting here for the very end if we've had a little bit of feedback back and forth and we're mostly on the same page.
Sure.
I can certainly be here at the end of the meeting.
I don't need both these here. Just somebody can listen to what we have to say, that's all.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, I'll let you guys decide that amongst yourselves.
But we can be on for the 23rd.
But hopefully what we are planning on doing is having the plan submitted to you. And if there's any feedback that you would like to provide, we would really appreciate it so
Sure.
that we can get this project approved.
Sure.
May I make a clarification? The board cannot deliberate or review together as a board unless it is in a public meeting.
I
So I just want to
understand
be clear about that.
I understand that.
I believe we did try to do that when you came to us and said you had issues with Verizon, and we did approve it that day for you guys to go ahead and proceed.
Yes, I remember that. Thank you.
Thank
So we need to make a motion to,
Someone give me a motion, please.
can I make a motion to continue the public hearing to the evening of February 23rd?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Thank you very much. Okay, this one's going to be, the next one is the warrant articles for 2026 annual town meeting.
Great, thank you. So staff took a stab at writing the motion language for the ARB presented articles to town meeting and included that language in this, in the package that you have tonight. I believe what we were hoping for was the board could briefly review some of this main motion language and offer any changes or suggestions that you may have prior to us going into to the hearings at our next meeting, starting on the 23rd.
Okay. Steve, you had a couple of comments that you wanted to make, talked about? Some
Well,
changes?
I have comments on nearly every article.
Okay.
So maybe would it make sense, Mr. Chair, to do them one at a time?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, can I just ask a question? I was unclear as to what our purpose was this evening. Are we discussing every article?
I think what we were hoping for was any, immediate issues with any of the motion language. Like I said, this was staff put this together based on ARB meeting minutes and other input. And I think we were just looking for just generally anything glaring, I think, that is sticking out to folks.
Thank you.
Are you okay with that, Rachel?
If that's the, you and Claire set the meeting.
Well, everybody's had a chance to review this, and I'm assuming, Steve, you had quite a few questions, and Jean, you had a couple. Those are the only two I heard from as far as comments. Did you get a chance to make any, Rachel or Shannon?
I was unclear as to the
Okay.
intent, so no, I do not
Okay,
have any
that's
this
fair enough.
evening.
I have some minimal.
Okay, so why don't we start with Article A?
Nothing here. That one's easy.
I had no suggested changes.
Anybody else? Article A? So Article A is fine. We'll make an approval at the whole thing once we get the whole thing. I don't want to approve each one as we go along.
We don't.
No, this is not a
No,
hearing.
This
Oh,
is a
okay.
discussion.
Right,
Okay,
so
fair
I just
enough.
want to make it clear that whether we're not discussing whether or not we agree with these items.
That's already been done already.
Nope, we have not agreed to the draft amendment language. This is, we have full hearings on each of these for, public hearings for each of these amendments coming in the schedule. So I just want to make that clear.
Then
for-
what, then I'm confused now. What is this for today?
That's what my question was.
It's my understanding that this was basically a discussion on the language. If there was anything glaring that folks saw that they wanted to make a change, then that would be something we could, potentially have the opportunity to address with staff tonight.
Okay. And everybody's looked at A, there's nothing wrong with, no major glaring changes for A, right? I'm just gonna go down the list. If you have something, just speak up, okay? I want to keep this going. It's getting quite late. Article B? Seeing none? Article C?
Nothing for C.
Article D?
Mr. Chair. Yes, I had sent around a copy of Melrose's regulations. I would suggest using, this, my suggestion, and we can defer the discussion to later, is that we basically take their table.
I have a little concerned about that, just because part of their table, yes, they're more contemporary as far as some of the sizes, the aisles and drive lanes, but they're still using huge numbers for their cars. The cars are huge, and they're much larger than ours.
Okay.
So it's going to have to be sort of a hybrid, okay? So it's not a clear. Gene?
Well, look, I'm a lame duck, so you don't have to take anything I have
You're still
to
not a lame
say.
duck today.
Yeah, I am. But the only change I thought in what was presented was in the chart with the angle of parking, the 90 degrees shouldn't be 24, it should be 22 to conform to the 22 feet in the narrative above. Other than that, I think ours is simpler, easier to apply, and I basically like it better than the Melrose. I'm glad you showed it to us. I just thought it was too complicated and crazy.
Okay.
But that was the only change I suggested to that.
Anything else? Anybody else? I think we're going to change that, Rachel? Claire?
Yep, I made a note
Okay.
I sent Claire a copy with all of my
with all of his
proposed
Okay.
changes and
changes on it.
comments.
Can I move to Article E? Are there any suggestions or anything you want to discuss on Article? Yes, Gene?
Steve, you want to go first?
Yeah, I have a bunch. Usually I bat cleanup after Mr. Benson, but maybe we can reverse the order this evening. So one, just a couple of points, and I'm just going to rattle through. In the definition of floodplain district, if it's possible, I would think it would be worthwhile to refer to the most recent Middlesex Flood County Insurance Rate Map rather than a specific date. The definition for new construction references the effective date of the first floodplain management code. If we have one, I'd suggest putting that date in there because first dates don't change. And if it's not the first date, well then, it's fine. There are three definitions that are not used either in the proposed new language or in the existing floodplain district section. Those three terms are functionally dependent use, highest adjacent grade, and historic structure.
You wanted to scratch those?
Well, I think they can be scratched because they're not used. Some other definition things, the proposed, changes to the, definitions associated with floodplain include a definition of structure. We already have a definition of structure. So I would suggest that either the floodplain specific one be moved into section 5.7, or that we use different words someplace to, clarify which kind of structure we're talking about. Ditto for variance, that is added as a definition, but in the current zoning bylaw, variance is, it comes from chapter 48, section 10. So maybe, different term, or just move that locally into section 5.7. In the definition for substantial repair of a foundation, there is a 50 followed by a $sign. I believe the $sign should be a percent. Section
Oh, I missed that one.
Section 574C capitalizes the word subject activities as if it's a defined term, but there is no definition. I think that should not be capitalized. 574G uses the acronym BFE and later spells out base flood elevation. I would suggest spelling out base flood elevation in both places, or at least at the time that BFE is used. Section 579C has the word changes followed by a parenthesis, then a period, then a parenthesis. I believe the period should be outside of the parenthesis. That one we cut. Section 5712, it mentions the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Conservation Commission. I believe Arlington Redevelopment Board belongs in that list. And that's all I have for Article whatever.
Oh, and I have lots of others for this article.
Can you submit that in to Claire?
In writing?
Yes, I could.
Thank you.
Please.
Starting with the definition of development, we got rid of all gender terms, so it shouldn't say any man-made, it should say any human-made. Floodplain district, similar to what Steve said, I think we want to say these sections as amended from time to time. In the definition of floodway, there's nothing in here that says what base code chapter 2 section 202 is at all. We need to understand what that is. Where is that coming from? It's just like it appears. I don't understand in functionally dependent use why U.S. Code of Federal Regulations and standard ASCE is in there at all. Highest adjacent grade, I don't understand why U.S. Code of Federal Regulations is listed there at all. In historic structure, D2, I don't understand why there's a reference to the CFR. In new construction structure, I don't understand why it references a certain standard. In recreational vehicle D, don't understand why it references the CFR at all. Again, in start of construction, base code 2 appears like magic without any understanding of what it is or why it's there. In structure, again, there's no reason I can see why there's a reference to the CFR. In the substantial repair of foundation, I'm not clear why it says is amended by MA in 9th edition BC, but it should probably say is amended from time to time. In variance, Steve is probably right, it doesn't belong here, but if it does, it should probably, I don't understand why it says terms of floodplain management regulation. Should it be section 5.7 of the zoning bylaw instead? I don't understand why it references the CFR. In violation, where it says the community's floodplain management regulations, what are they? Is it section 5.7 of the bylaw, or is it something else? It needs to say. Again, at the end, I don't understand why it references the CFR. Going down to 5.7.1A, where it mentions flooding in Millbrook, Alewife Brook, Mystic River, and Mystic Lakes floodplains. I believe there's a floodplain for No Name Brook, for Spy Pond, and for the Arlington Res, and I'm not sure why they're not named there. There may be good reasons for all of these, but it seems like those are missing some of the major water bodies with floodplains. 5.7.4, they're not regulations, they're requirements. The zoning bylaw is not regulations. Where are we next? Again, in 5.7.9b, they're not man-made event, they're human-made events. For C, what happens if the town doesn't notify FEMA? You know, what, are there like liability implications for the town? That section definitely needs to be run by town council, and I'm not sure why C is in here at all, since the zoning bylaw really doesn't regulate what the town does, it regulates use of property, so I'm not clear about C at all. Same thing with D, what happens if the town doesn't do that? Is there a time limit for this? Again, it's not, zoning just generally doesn't reference this sort of stuff. E, where it says state law, what state law is he talking about? It would be helpful to know which one it is. 5.7.10, they're not regulations, they're requirements. 5.7.12, which Steve pointed out, the ZBA and the Conservation Commission can't present amendments to the zoning bylaw to town meeting. They don't have the authority under state law to do that. The ARB has to be listed there as the one to present a warrant article to change the zoning bylaw. And Steve is right about the ones on top should include the ARB, but the second part has to be only the ARB. So those are my questions and concerns about that.
Can I ask you to submit that in?
I gave it to Claire.
Okay.
She's got it.
Thank you.
I gave it to David.
Jana?
Between Steve and Jean, they caught everything I caught and quite a few additional items.
Rachel?
Nope.
Okay, I'm fine here as is, and we'll submit that in, and that'll be for our next discussion, or next, when we look at all these things.
We'll begin hearings at our next meeting
Okay. And that is, we're gonna start with
with the ARB articles
and then we'll go to the citizen ones?
at a future meeting, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The next one is open forum.
No, we have more.
We have more articles.
We have more articles. We're up to
Oh,
F. Marquee signs.
And I have more errata.
okay. My apologies. We go to warrant articles.
F.
Yes.
But no errata for F.
I'm fine with F also.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, me as well.
Let me get back to where that was. I already went back up to the top already. Okay, Article F. We're fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Article G, portable and temporary signs.
Yeah, well, one issue. There's a revision in 6.2a. Nope, sorry, say that again. In 6.2.6a2, that proposes to add the text, all temporary and portable signs may only be displayed for a period of 30 days. I had questions regarding like how you count that 30 days. I note that our section on wall banner sign says 30 calendar days per calendar year. That may be a more appropriate, that may capture the meaning better, or at least it's clearer. That's it.
Okay.
I had the same thought. I thought that after the sentence that was added for displayed for a period of 30 days in any one calendar year, although it does present an interesting thing for the board to think about, in that one of the portable signs are the little, like, signs that people put out in the street.
A-frame.
Take A-frame signs, and do we want to limit those to 30 days in a calendar year, or do we want to break this out so temporary signs are or portable signs. Anyhow, you need to figure out what to do with it, but it does need 30 days in any one calendar year to make it clear what, and that is consistent later on in one of the other sections when it talks about that. And then, let me see, did I have something else there?
Well,
That's all I had for G.
okay. Sheena?
I had nothing additional.
Rachel?
I have some changes, but I'll go through those at the hearing.
Okay. My only thing is, where did 30 days come from? Just a question, okay? I don't think that's adequate for some signs that are temporary. You know, a construction sign might go for a year. That's a temporary sign. And so,
But then there's like that wall banner at the cannabis place on Broadway that's been up there for like forever.
yes,
Forever. As long as there was legal pot, that sign's been up there.
I don't know.
Temporary sign.
So
It's like suspended by all of the fumes.
I just need to know what's a fair date, or it depends.
I think it's better to have a date.
But how did you come up with 30?
I didn't.
Okay. I mean,
Or there needs to be some sort of an exception approval process
okay.
Mm-hmm.
by type. Or, or just an exception approval.
With reasons for the exception, so it's not open-ended.
Are we okay with signs? Can we go to Article H, animal daycare use?
Nothing here.
Gene?
I liked it.
Jenna?
Nothing here.
Rachel? There?
Again, I'll
Okay.
provide it at the hearing.
Article I, definition of building height.
I've got two. The first is more just is wordsmithing. It ends with amend section 5320 maximum height exceptions as follows, and there are no amendments. So I would suggest rewording to something to the effect of section 5320 maximum height exceptions is reproduced below, because we're not changing it. And regarding the substantive part of this, I had a conversation or an email exchange with Kristen Klein over the weekend. If this were applied to buildings in a floodplain that were on a hill, it would actually lower them as written. So I had suggested a small change, and Kristen was okay. I've sent it to staff, but the general gist is, in the floodplain district, building height is the vertical distance of the highest point on the roof measured from the higher of A, the average grade of the curb line abutting the property, or B, the base flood elevation established by FEMA.
That makes sense.
Nothing further on Article I.
I also saw there was no change to 5.3.20, and I thought there should be a C that just says, for the floodplain district, see the definition of building height. So it references it back and forth.
Okay. Sure.
Nothing further.
Richard, later? Okay. So we're off to, that's it, right?
One more.
One more?
J.
One more.
Okay, J, sorry. Residential parking.
Yeah, so this is just a small wordsmithing change to get singular versus plural agreement. So there's now, I believe, the phrase, or when the property is developed in compliance with the multifamily housing overlay district under section 5.8 of this bylaw, where, it uses property in the singular, but the earlier part of the sentence uses terms in the plural. I would suggest, or properties developed in compliance with the multifamily housing overlay district under section 5.8 of this bylaw. I'll send all this to staff.
Yeah, I had no comment on this, and the problem with turning it into properties is the implication is more than one property. So I think it has to stay in the singular. But you all can work that out while I'm gone.
Well, and we'll also discuss the fact that the, single 1, 2, and 3 family homes.
Yeah, but that's true. Or when you could say, or when a property might be the way to do it. Anyhow,
Anyway, yes.
yes.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this later, because it does talk about driveways. And the driveway for two-way is 20 feet. And right now, we've been approving a couple of projects now where 20 feet was not met. So we should put some sort of verbiage in there.
Well, this isn't the place to do it. This is location of parking spaces. So you can't put it in this part.
But wasn't it here saying driveway width regulations are as follows, following table?
I don't think, well, you try to add it to J. I don't think you can do it.
Okay, no, I'm just, but shouldn't it be more consistent?
Because this is, the article is location of parking spaces. So if you're starting to change the driveway, I would argue at town meeting that you're out of scope.
Well, it depends on what the whole article says.
I've read the whole article.
Oh, well, then I'll trust you, Mr. Benson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Revelak.
Okay. Am I done now?
Yes.
Chair,
Yes?
Marisa Lau, Senior Planner. Could the board decide which articles of these to be heard at the following meeting, so staff can make sure anyone associated with them is able to turn up? So A through J, and you have two meetings to discuss articles A through J.
Okay.
So if you want to divide them up for half at your following meeting this month in February, and then the other half at your first meeting in March, you can do that. But I just want to make sure the staff and the ZBA chair know which hearings to be available for.
Let me,
Does that make sense?
let me coordinate with Claire later on, okay?
Okay.
I think we can do that. Is the board okay with that?
Yeah, I think it's important that David Morgan
Yes.
be at the one about
Yes.
the floodplain
Yes.
overlay
So
district.
we can coordinate that later. I'll stop by and we can coordinate and add the invites in. Okay?
Great.
Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else?
I would just say that because the sign articles were proposed by Katie, if there is a staff member who is not Katie who can speak to them, that would be great. Otherwise, it would be great if Katie could speak to the signage.
Actually, I want her there to speak for it. Just understanding where she's coming from with the signage, and she's clear what the intent is, what she has to enforce. Thank you. So can I move on to the next one, or we're done with this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Next item is
I believe it's open forum.
open forum.
Okay, I'm opening open forum right now for anybody who wants to speak. Please speak. You got 3 minutes to come up and speak, and your name and your address. And thank you.
Hello, Mariah Contreras, 2 Ryder Street. So I'm new to this process. So these are, I guess, more procedural, general questions.
Believe me, I'm pretty new too.
Okay. So for things like if there was a safety evaluation report from the police department or a written liability opinion from legal counsel that was obtained by the board, but not necessarily, made public here, are we allowed to request that the board add them to the public viewing channels?
Anything that the board requests or any documents the board has is public documents. Everybody has access to it. We don't hold anything just to ourselves. Any comments that comes from the town is public. Our emails are public.
Okay.
There's no documents that we have that's not open for the public to request.
So if those documents aren't there, then we should assume that they don't exist?
That's a safe bet, yes.
Okay.
But I would ask to see if it exists, okay?
Okay.
And that could be done with a request.
Okay. And is there a way that we can request that the board correct any inaccuracies or misinformation in a memo or report that was submitted for a docket, such as the Senior Transportation Planner's March 24th memo, which the Director of Planning has agreed has inaccuracies in it, so that the public record is corrected?
I don't think so. I think what you can do is write a letter to the board and say, these are what we consider inaccuracies in this document, but the document's there. It's not going to be corrected after the fact.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jean.
And so we would request that of whom, the board or the?
No, you would write, you or whomever thinks there are things wrong would write to the planning director saying, could you attach this to the letter because we believe these are inaccuracies.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, can we request to thank Mr. Benson for his service?
Yes.
Okay. So.
We were going to do so.
Okay. But from, I know that our neighborhood is very appreciative of Mr. Benson's efforts to come down to our neighborhood. We appreciate your work hearing us and your humility and your thoughtfulness and your wisdom on the board. It's very apparent.
Wow.
So thank you.
It took 9 years for someone to say all those nice things to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Yes, please. That time it's your phone.
Hi, yeah, that time's my phone. Hi, Stephanie Hahn, 17 Beck Road. I am new as well to understand a few things. So my question is, right now there is a conditional permit approved for ABC Brewing, is that correct?
I don't know you conditional.
So there were certain conditions they have to meet for this special permit, is that?
No,
Is that
there's no
correct?
conditions. It was.
There's no
you know,
conditions or?
There are special conditions.
There are special conditions, right?
Yes. But they don't have to meet them. I mean, it's like, it was, maybe I'm mistaken by what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's aspects that we set that they have to do
Okay,
for the special permit.
okay.
And that was established the first time we approved it, okay? And that was way back then. And
Right.
there was several meetings, and it was quite heated and debated on there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just came back today to make a small change about phasing it. And that's what today's hearing was about. We did not want to go and rehash everything that was done beforehand.
No, and I understand that. So my question is where is who governs to make sure that anything is getting done or not? Because I heard the whole situation with the corner of Leader Bank where things were not followed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, who controls or governs that? So if a condition was not met, or God forbid an accident happens, or we find out that the police department says it is a safety concern, where do the residents get to go to speak? Who acts on our behalf? That's what I'm trying to understand in this process.
The building commissioner has jurisdiction on enforcing with the building permit and also certificate of occupancy, okay?
Okay.
But once that's established and something doesn't happen, you can always report back to the planning department, and we can come back and reopen the hearing.
Okay.
And we have done that in the past for other projects that did not comply, and we did that and asked them to give their reasons and work with them. Just like this last meeting that was pretty heated.
Yep.
You know, we gave them direction,
Mm-hmm.
and they chose not to follow it with whatever reasonings they gave.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
And you see how heated that got
Yep.
with the owner. And so we do follow up on that too.
Okay.
Okay, and we do follow up with people's inputs and so forth like that, okay?
So if we were able to present new information, or if there were conditions that were not met, or we went to the planning, is there an opportunity to bring this back up to light?
So those are different questions,
Okay.
actually. So if they did not comply with the permit, that's one thing. If
Okay.
you came with different information, that is a separate question. The decision has been made. If you came and said, I have this report now that says traffic is different, it's too late for that. If they don't comply with, if they're not complying with the permit, if they're building the building and you say, hey, it was supposed to, why is there a three-story addition on top of the building? That's not supposed to happen. Then you come to us.
No,
You
the
go
building
to-
commission would,
then-
yeah.
Then you flag it for the building
Do
commissioner.
you see how confusing this is?
No,
I'm just being
building,
honest.
the building commissioner, again, is who alerted us to the challenges of the prior item. Again, he is the enforcement officer, and then as part of the process of enforcing, the redevelopment board opened the special permit.
To the building committee,
Building commissioner,
the building commissioner.
yes.
Yes,
Who's-
it's called, on the town website, it's referred to as the Inspectional Services Department.
It's
Inspectional Services is assigned the responsibility of enforcing the zoning bylaw and any of the special permits and approvals that we issue. So if you find that they're not doing something that was required by the special permit, or they're doing something that was not in the special permit, you start with inspectional services. If you say, gee, look at this, there was this information that wasn't presented to the board in the first place, and maybe it would have changed their minds, I think you're probably out of luck
Okay,
with that. But you could always ask the town council if I'm wrong,
okay.
okay?
Town council
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
inspectional services.
You know, a good example is if, we told them they had certain hours that they can operate.
Yes.
If they stay out and they ignore that and they're open till like 2 or 3 in the morning, constantly, go to Mike Champa at Building Services and say they're not following their approvals, and he has the charge for that, okay?
Okay,
And then if he has problems, he'll come reach out to us, okay? There's only one person you need to reach out to right now.
there's only one person,
Okay,
inspectional
and
services.
he'll take care of the rest, how to distribute, who to talk to, and all that kind of stuff. Okay,
And correct me if I'm wrong, have they already received that permit from inspectional services?
they have not yet.
They have not.
They just finished their drawings. I guess they went and got pricing, and they couldn't afford what they had earlier.
That's
And
by
they-
the multi-phase
And they're
approach.
asking for the 2 phases. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a good thing. I think Gene hit it on the head where they said that the impact would be less because it's not as big of a store, and we'll see how it goes.
So if something happens during phase 1, we can go to inspectional services.
Correct.
God forbid, a child gets hit during the construction process or plowing or whatever the situation, we have the
Child
ability.
gets hit, you go to the select board.
I'm just,
That's
in
where you
case
go.
you guys have not seen the area during the
Construction
roof
happens
time,
all
yeah.
over town. If there are any problems with construction, you go to inspectional services.
Inspectional services.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Seeing no other comments, I close open forum. And is there a motion to adjourn?
New business.
Sorry.
I got nothing.
Thank you, Steve.
No
I
new
have
business
some-
at
I
this
have
time.
something
Gene.
for a change. So this is my last meeting, so I'd like to just say a few things. One is, 9 years is a long time to be on this board, and I went through a lot of things in 9 years, but it was a wonderful, time-consuming experience. And I thank all of you and the staff of planning for sort of putting up with me and the way I approach things from time to time. I learned a lot from all of you and appreciate sort of how courteous we were, and as they say, we disagreed a lot, but we were never disagreeable with one another, which I think was really, really important. And I know there's not many people from the public here, but maybe they'll watch. And I found the comments from the public really helpful in many instances. Not all instances, but in many instances, the comments were really helpful. And just thank you for the public for paying attention to all of this. And so now I go on to have a nice life. And I don't know how all of you who work full-time manage to do this at the same time. Just crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Much appreciated. I think we started more or less at the same time, maybe a little earlier. I started just a little earlier. But I've always admired you, and we always shared the same goals for the town. How we went about it was a little different, and we've argued many times, but we've always had the same goal, and I always appreciate. And I also appreciate leaning on you sometimes for actual, common sense law. I think you come back with a good experience you share with us, and the experience you have is going to be missed.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just also want to say thank you to Jean. I've learned so much from you, so I really, really appreciate all your contributions during my tenure on the board.
We will have a drink with you sometime when the weather gets a little warmer, and
when Trist is still open, closes
yes,
at
we'll try
9.
something. We'll try something. Maybe we can do it maybe after the retreat or something. And
PJ Ryan's is open till 1.
Somehow I didn't know that.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one. My bedtime is way past that. Anybody else has any new business? Claire?
No new business at this time, thank you.
Okay, so I think that is the last subject, and I can call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Oh, give it to Shane.
Second.
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes. Thank you very much for your patience, and see you not next week, right? We have 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.